Maybe the hardest stage in the Tour de France this year, definitely one of the hardest ridden stages of the previous few years in Grand Tours. This was the Tour de France stage 14 from Pau to Luchon-sur-Bagnères. We have the Col du Tourmalet after 70 k's of flat where the break would try and fail to form. 20 k's at 7.5%, then the Col d'Aspin, Col de Peresud, and Super Bagnères, which is like 16 k's at 7%. Really, really hard stage. The intermediate sprint was before the climb started, so Milan wanted to get in the breakaway. That no one got in the break. There was no hills to separate it. Schielmoser hit some traffic furniture. He crashed, and he had to abandon the race, unfortunately. But Little Trek were pacing on the front into that intermediate sprint. The break didn't go for 65 k's, and so they wanted to take maximum points for Johnny Milan. Pogacar didn't contest the sprint. He looked like he was in position to do it. Then he didn't, but somewhat curious from him and Wellens, at the base of the Tourmalet, Wellens just starts smashing it. Like, really, really smashing it. All the climbers were ready and lined up, like Mike Woods, Enric Mas, they were all ready to jump, and they couldn't jump. Remco's already getting put on a gap, and then Wellens stops. Sivakov starts pacing, because actually Narvaez and Soler, they're in front of Remco here. I think it's those two. I think they peed or something, or maybe they're just getting dropped. And then it was a free-for-all. Then anyone could get in the break. Remco Evenepoel, unfortunately, he had to get in the car today. Didn't have a great TT yesterday, and unfortunately he's out of the race, which is a shame for him. Quick-step, and also the white jersey battle. I was really excited to see that. But the race continues, and Aronsman's getting in. Aronsman was the strongest guy probably on Tourmalet outside of Lenny Martinez. Ben Healy wanted to get in the break, but he actually eventually got dropped out of it. We see Ivan Romeo and Enrique Mas, as well as Woods, O'Connor, Simon Yates has already won a stage. So all the right names, all the expected riders, all the climbers wanting to go in the break who are not in GC, some even who are in GC, like Tobias Hallen-Johannesson. They're all going in the break, but does Pogacar have other ideas? Him and UAE held the keys to this stage, and so the break never actually got together. At no point did the break form on Tourmalet, ride as one group, as a cohesive unit. It was always Fuga's beginning, and Lenny Martinez went clear. He wanted the maximum HC KOM points at the top of Tourmalet, plus the 5,000 euros for the Souvenir Godet. He takes that, but now he's got a 2-minute gap. A 2-minute gap on the group behind, who kind of let him go and rode tempo behind. UAE had a 3:30 gap on him and 1:40 on the breakaway, so they were keeping it really tight, but this descent changed a lot in this race, actually. Really heavy fog. We didn't see what happened in the main breakaway group, but apparently Kuss and Valentin Perry-Pancha went up the road. UAE, most of their team got gapped on the descent. Sivakov led it. And so Lenny only had 50 seconds at the base in this unfortunate valley. He's got two of the slender guys chasing him too, and then Sivakov had to wait for Pollitt to return because Pollitt can't descend. And so UAE gave back, I think, like a minute and plus on that descent, because they were keeping it pretty tight on the Tourmalet to that main chase group, which was working pretty well in the valleys. Category 2 Col d'Aspin, I mean, it's actually an uphill valley road before it even became the categorized climb, but Lenny again takes points. He's losing steadily to Kuss and Valentin Perry-Pancha. Aronsman, he's just chugging away in that chase group all day, chugging away. They crest still with a gap of only 140 to the UAE Team Emirates-led peloton. Very, very tight gap on the Peresud. It was make or break. For the breakaway, Kuss, VPP, and Lenny, could they extend the gap? It's now 2:42 after Pollitt does his final pull in the valley. Carlos Rodriguez on the radio, maybe he's saying to Aronsman, I'm cooked, you need to go. And because they're riding full, Aronsman's riding full in that break, but Sivakov's also going all out. The gap was 2:18, and we're thinking if this keeps going down, it's going to be like 1 minute 30, 1 minute 15 by the top. That's no margin at all. But Aronsman goes once, he goes twice. The second time he gets rid of Lenny and THJ, and then Sivakov collapses. Aronsman rides the last couple of Ks of Peresud a minute plus quicker than Sivakov. And remember, 1 minute 15, remember that number on the Peresud that Aronsman took and then kept going in the valley. That number is going to be very, very important for Super Bagnères. But still, it looked like UAE were going for it. Soler pacing. They've got Narvaez and Yates for the lead out. We've got 13 Ks of climbing left. The GC group's in tatters. The only team with domestiques is Decathlon, apart from UAE. And then when Narvaez takes over, we're thinking 9 Ks to go. He's going to take it to 2 minutes. Adam Yates going to do his lead out. It'll be 1:30 with 6 Ks to go. See ya later, Timon Aronsman. But it doesn't happen. Narvaez kept the gap was going out. Felix Gall says, this pace ain't hard enough for me. Let me take some more time back on GC. By the way, the rest of the guys in the breakaway, they get mopped up. Carlos Rodriguez, TSJ, etc. Ben Healy, who got dropped out of the break on Tourmalet, is doing an admirable job in the GC group. But Adam Yates is losing to Felix Gall. Healy got dropped, and then Arensman, still 2 minutes 17 with 4Ks to go. It ain't looking good for him. If Pogačar, he can close 30 seconds per kilometer if he wants, but Healy comes back. The gap grows to Felix Gall over 30 seconds, and so Jonas Vingegaard with 4Ks to go decides to test Tadej Pogačar, but still 3Ks to go, or maybe 4Ks for when he's jumping on this climb. It's not that hard, like 7.5% to the finish. Tadej Pogačar progressively responds. He has such a huge margin on GC that even if he were to be having a really bad day, he'd only be losing probably 10 seconds when he already has a 4-minute plus advantage. So Vingegaard tried once, Lipovic comes back, Pogačar sees Gall and he thinks, I'll get across to him, Felix Gall will keep pacing, and then he can just neutralize the final for me. The gap's 140 to Arensman, and then Vingegaard goes again. 2.2 kilometers to go. Is Vingegaard going to pace like Puyol when he caught Carapaz and Mas last year? Is he going to try to pace to keep Lipovic behind? But it was looking good for Arensman. All of a sudden, 1 minute 30 with 1K to go. Even Pogačar can't bridge that gap to him. And a huge ride for the Dutch rider on Ineos. To win so comfortably after such a hard day is incredibly impressive. Pogačar dusts Vingegaard in the sprint, of course, puts him on another 4 seconds plus 2 bonies. But Arensman wins the stage 108 ahead of Pogačar, which is the gap he took on top of Peresud extra when he attacked Vingegaard on 112, then Gall, Lipovic, only Healy. Good result. Roglic, Johannesson, Vogtland. Here's what Arensman had to say after the race.
Going to my first tour, I just wanted to experience everything and had to be really patient the first week because it was all pretty punchy and I had to wait until the mountains. And then the first opportunity I got, I was already second on the Mont d'Or stage. So that was already amazing and amazing experience in my first tour. I heard the gap with the GC group and on Peresud, and I thought with Tadej and Jonas, 3 minutes, 3.5 minutes is probably not enough. I have to move. Maybe it's suicide, maybe it's not, and I can't believe I hold them off. But I was really fading on this last climb, the second half of the climb, but I don't know, but I think with all the spectators, they gave me extra few watts and I just could hold them off, and it's unbelievable, it's crazy.
In terms of GC, Remco was in third before this stage. He's out. Lipovic goes into third and takes the white jersey for now. Only lost a bit of time to him today. He's won 20 back on Lipovic. Vogtland lost more time. So the white jersey battle is not over. Lipovic has got his hand on it right now, but we've still got 4 hard maybe stages to come where there can be big GC gaps. Hope you enjoy the recap, and I'll see you at the stage tomorrow. Ciao.